All right, it's conference championship week. Yes, indeed. Boy, I looked at last year, and a lot of big names were shut out of the conference titles last year. And so this, I think the idea is don't be afraid to take a long shot. Now, I'll probably take, you'll see, I'm going to take a bunch of favorites too. But here's who won the 6 major conferences last year. Georgetown, which I don't, did they even win a Big East game this year? I don't know if they
have yet.
I don't think they have yet. Well, not yet. Well, I
don't think they did.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Georgetown, Oregon State won the Pac-12. Alabama, they were a 1 seed. They were the only 1 seed out of the 6 major conferences to win, but certainly not the biggest SEC name, right? Not the ones we're used to in the past. Georgia Tech wins the ACC. Texas won the SEC. Only Illinois was kind of predictable, and even they were a 2 seed. They beat Michigan. So Alabama was the only 1 seed to win. You should keep that in mind as you fire away on long range or mid range dogs. So let's start with the ACC. We all had fun with Duke and Coach K's big loss to North Carolina. And now we look at this and the ACC. Now, Parlay Kid, I said we could do the Atlantic 10, but you're like, you know what? Let's skip that. I know you wanted to take. Were you going to take Dayton or were you going to take UMass at 80-1? You're going to take your flyer. Your Flyers are plus
that's the thing is,
yes.
Once you get to the A10, now you got to start adding all these other conferences, right? Even though I do think maybe the A10 is like that next conference.
But if you have
I think Dayton's got to win this tournament to get in. And I'm a Dayton guy. I think they've had a very good year after they got off to that terrible 3-game start.
Yeah.
And I personally think Dayton's a basketball town, a great basketball school.
Right,
that's where they play those first-in games that they play is in Dayton. I think they would love to put Dayton in, but they're going to have to at least make the finals, Sal,
of the A10
to get into this tournament. It didn't have to be that way. They lost a terrible game at the end of the year to LaSalle, which means they really got to make the finals, if not win it all. But one of the youngest teams in the country, Sal.
This is all my fault. I never should have brought it. This should have been as the 7th conference. I should have brought it up
because
after
Dayton is not.
conference.
We got to stop talking. Dayton is not a mid-major. Just go to watch a game in Dayton. It's one of the best places to watch a game in the country. It's top 5.
Now, listen,
it's amazing.
As I search for the ACC odds, I realize the ACC games are going on right now, so they took the freaking odds down. But I do know that Duke is favored, and that's who I'm taking. After all this talk about mid-range and long-range dogs, Duke minus 125. Coach K's last ACC tournament, obviously, he's embarrassed. They have 21 conference tournament titles. That's crazy. UNC has 18. Duke 16-4 in the ACC. Paolo Banchero leads this team. That has 5 players with double-digit scoring. Mark Williams, the ACC Defensive Player of the Year. They shoot almost 50% from the field. It's remarkable. And they average over 80 points per game. They crushed Syracuse twice. That's who I think they would play in their first round. Or they split with FSU. They beat Wake Forest twice. They lost to Miami. I'm trying to see some of these. They have an easy-ish road to the finals. They would have Miami's the 4 seed. FSU Syracuse is the winner. They would play Thursday morning of that. And like I said, they crushed Syracuse twice. I'm going Duke at minus 125. By the way, here's my thing. Oh, guys, I did it again. I can see I did it. You can't find this online. I had to catch it real quick. It was on the scroll or something. I had to make.
You got a couple. Looks like you got a couple scratch offs though.
I did a little bit. I did a little bit. You know what happens? I go to do a bracket and I see, oh wow, I'm doing the Big Ten women's bracket. I'm not doing the men's, so I had a little scratch off there. There you go, brother Bry. You're going Carolina now. They would meet Duke in the finals. You like them plus 650?
Yeah, I like them plus 650. I mean, they're playing better than anyone in the conference right now, right? They've won 5 straight, 11 of the last 13. It wasn't too long ago, right? People were thinking Hubert Davis wouldn't last very long. Although after beating Coach K the other night, he probably deserves like an extra 20 years at UNC. Yeah. But Baycott's been playing really well on the inside. They have a few guys who shoot the ball well on the outside, and Love and Manic. And plus, I do like that side of the bracket they're on. I like that they're with Virginia, and I like that they're with Notre Dame. So I think, I think they get to the finals here and improve their seed, because otherwise right now they're talking about them as like an 8 or a 9 seed, which is seems pretty high for them. But, if they could win if they could get to the finals or win this conference, they obviously can improve their position. So I like them at plus 650. I know that's dropped. I think it was originally like 9-1.
Yeah, I was thinking when we talked about it enough, but that Duke North Carolina, that last regular season game, how many games is that worth to North Carolina? Could they have lost? Like, if you would take the deal, we'll have lost our last 6 against Duke, but we beat Coach K on his own turf the very last time. Is that worth it? If we would trade draft picks, Harry, you think it would worth it?
I think so. That's what I wanted Boeheim to do when they played Duke the week before. It didn't get done, but North Carolina being the biggest rival of Duke, I think that weighs 10 times over. You always have the last lap.
They would trade 10 games for that. Yeah, I agree. It's a great one. I will throw in Florida State 70-1. They split with Duke. They came in second last year, lost to Georgia Tech. They know how to win some of these things. So, like I said, it's all it's fun. Barclays Center. Go, Parlay Kid. You got to go there.
Utes beat them.
Catch that final Saturday night at the Barclays Center.
It's funny. I was thinking of that too. It would probably be good to go to one of those. I mean, you have the Big East tournament is there too.
At the Garden, right?
At the Garden. Yeah. So we got Titus and Tate and Jimbo. Titus and Tate and Jim are in New York.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. They'll never get back. All right, Big Ten. This one's in Indianapolis. These odds I could read you here. Where are we? Purdue 2-1, Illinois plus 380, Iowa plus 390, Wisconsin 8-1, Ohio State 10, Michigan State 19, Michigan 21. Juwan Howard is allowed back to coach his team. So Purdue gets the number 1 seed in the tournament in the conference, and they're a 2-1 favorite. I'm going a little off the board. I'm going Iowa plus 390. Like I said, Illinois beat Ohio State last year, so kind of true to form. Who was the 1 seed last year? Michigan was the 1 seed, right? Was Michigan the 1 seed? I think they were. And Illinois beat Ohio State. Iowa's a 5 seed. Now, they lost to Illinois the other day, so they lose out by not getting the top 4. They're a 5 seed. They lost out on the double bye, but I don't mind it because the odds move up a little. They'll play Nebraska or Northwestern, I believe, Thursday. They beat both of those teams in 3 games, all by double digits. Let me see if I can find it here. Yes, they play. Is that a Thursday game? That is a Thursday noon Pacific game. Keegan Murray won Big Ten Player of the Week 6 times. 6 times in first team All-American. They're the second best free throw shooting team in the Big Ten, which I think is important in these tournaments. By the way, they shot 40% against Illinois, which is why they lost. They blew it, but 76% overall. Double-digit wins in the last month versus Ohio State, Michigan State, and Michigan. I think Coach Fran McCaffrey's poised for a big run. Give me Iowa, who was plus 440. They're now plus 390. Harry, you going Wisconsin? Their stars banged up a little, right, Johnny Davis?
He is, but look, I think it's still yesterday I saw a 10-1, now down to 8-1. I still think it's nice value for a team that tied for first in conference play. You mentioned Purdue being the number 1 seed. Wisconsin, the Badgers beat them both times this year, and Purdue's just 1-3 straight up in last 4 games on the road. Wisconsin closed the season nice, winning 6 of the last 7. Played a great non-conference schedule this year. They beat Providence, Texas A&M, Houston, St. Mary's. Have great guard play in Brad Davidson, but also you mentioned Johnny Davis injured with an ankle, but looks like he's going to give it a go on Friday when they play the first game. I'm going to take Wisconsin 8-1. Like I said, nice value for a team that finished tied for first in conference play.
They're on the other side of Michigan, right? I wanted them to meet up again. It's not going to happen. Shit. Michigan would have to, if they beat Michigan, Indiana, I think is the best first round game, right? At any of these tournaments, the most appealing, because they both kind of need it. I think Indiana was the first team out on Lenardi's chart yesterday, and then the winner would play Illinois. We're not going to see Wisconsin, Michigan, but anyway, always fun. The Big Ten Conference tournament. All right, let's go now. What do we got? Big 12, T-Mobile in Kansas. Let me read you the odds. Like I said, this was Texas won this last year, but Baylor plus 220. Kansas plus 260, Texas Tech plus 390, Texas plus 650, TCU 16, Oklahoma 16, Iowa State 19-1, and so on and so forth. Baylor is going to get a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. They're plus 220. Again, this is the second favorite I'll take here. They lost twice to Texas Tech. I know we're going to hear all about it. I just don't think it's happening a third time. I'm trying to think. They play Iowa State, Texas Tech. Parlay Kid, I know you're going with Texas. So they split with Iowa State. So that it's not a foregone conclusion that they get by them. They have wins. Baylor does over Nova, Texas twice, Kansas recently, 5 in a row, 7 of the last 8, defending champs. I think they're peaking at the right time. LJ Cryer, they figured out how to win with Cryer out, who he could return. I read somewhere later this week, but potentially for the tournament, the big tournament for sure. James Aquino was injured. He's coming back around. They need him to be a solid contributor. I think he went nuts against Texas the other day, 19, 8, and 7. It's weird. Scott Drew, 3 straight Big 12 Coach of the Year honors, has not won this thing, has not won the Big 12 tournament. And I think he's got him rolling. PK, Parlay Kid, you have a futures ticket you made for me, right? On FanDuel. It was 10-1 odds. It's still 10-1 to win the whole thing.
It's still to 10-1, Sal. It's exactly what it was the day I made it. Yep.
And now it's 10-1. Again, the plus 220, I'll roll the dice with Baylor to win the Big 12. Not a familiar spot for them, but I like where they are in the bracket, and I'm taking them plus 220. Parlay Kid, Texas Tech is a fun bet.
Yeah, Texas Tech at plus 390 here to win the tournament. I think Harry mentioned them yesterday. They do play a suffocating defense, and I think they have a very experienced backcourt with McCullers and Warren. I'm a guard guy in these tournament plays. I think when you get good guard play, and this is a veteran team. This is a team that starts 3 seniors and 2 juniors, Texas Tech. They have 5 guys that basically average 10 points or more. So even though they're not a team that scores a ton of points, they get great balance from 5 different guys that are scoring 10 or more. Not many teams can say that. 23-8 on the year, including 2 wins against Baylor, 2 wins against Texas. And you know Texas was trying to beat Texas Tech because their old coach is there. So you know he was giving his best effort in those games. This is a battle-tested team. They know how to win big games. They play great defense. They get good guard play, Sal. And they got multiple guys who can score. They might not have that one big-time player, but they're well-balanced. I think come these type of tournaments, these are the teams that they're going to just grind it out. And I think they'll beat Baylor in that second round. I think they'll beat them in the semis, Sal. I think they'll do it a third time. Normally I don't go with that. I think it's hard to beat a team 3 times, but they've handled Baylor pretty well this year. Baylor doesn't like their style of play. They don't like to play the way Texas Tech plays.
I'm surprised they don't have a line on that Texas Tech Iowa State game yet. They have a bunch of lines up, but not quite that one. All right, let's go to SEC. This is in Tampa. Harry, is this tournament usually in Tampa? It's SEC tournament?
I don't think so. I think this is new.
All right.
I don't think so.
Oh, you don't think so? Yeah. All right. So look, the conference odds for the SEC here. Kentucky favored at 2-1. They're right there, 1-2 seed. We're going to discuss that in a minute, whether they get a 1 or a 2 seed overall. But 2-1 favored. Auburn is the 1 seed, plus 270. They're second. Tennessee plus 370. Arkansas 7-1. LSU 11. Alabama defending conference champ 16-1. And then it gets big with Mississippi State 45, A&M 55, Florida 60, and so forth. I'm going Arkansas 7-1. Like I said, Alabama was a 1 seed. They won last year. Arkansas was a 2 seed last year. They lost in the semis. Coach Musselman took a lot of crap from my old friend, because I'm not friends with him anymore, Todd Furman, because of the vitriol he'd sent towards Coach Musselman. But I've had luck betting Arkansas this year. I had him to beat Auburn. Tennessee a couple weeks ago. I know they lost recently to Tennessee. I had that Kentucky, that money line, even though there was a crazy spread ending. I had Arkansas on the money line at 13-5 in the conference. They could play with anybody. They have 8 games that were decided by 5 points or fewer. I like that. Jalen Williams, JT Notte, they received all SEC honors. I'm taking Arkansas 7-1 to win this thing. Brother Bry, you're going with a big dog.
Yeah, I'm going with a big long shot here, but I like Arkansas too. But I'm going to go with Florida at 60-1. I do feel like this. I feel like this SEC tournament is pretty wide open. I feel like there's 8 or 9 teams that could win this. You know, I like Florida being on that top side of the bracket, especially with Auburn and Arkansas. You know, they beat Auburn a few weeks ago, and they were beating Arkansas. I had Arkansas in that game, and they were beating them late. It took a little bit of a comeback for Arkansas to win that game. So I think if a guy like Castleton could stay out of foul trouble, maybe a guy like Appleby gets hot from 3, they could beat these teams. And, you know, the thing with Florida is they need a win or 2 to earn a bid probably into the tournament. So, and then when you factor in, is the motivation there for a team like Auburn, who, they might be a 1 seed regardless, potentially. Mm-hmm. So when you factor all those things in, I do like Florida at 61. I mean, you could say the same thing for Texas A&M too, who's like 55-1, or some of these other ones. But I like the big underdogs here in this tournament.
Why not? I mean, you read the names, or I read the names. Someone read the names. Georgetown, Oregon State. I mean, Georgia Tech. Those are monster odds last year. That one. Now, maybe it was a little different. There were no fans, right? It was a weird year. And then the year before, we didn't even have a tournament. I'm going to pick a big one here. Pac-12 in Las Vegas. Now, Arizona, a guaranteed 1 seed, is the favorite here in the Pac-12. This is in Las Vegas. Let me look at these other lines. These other odds here. Arizona, the favorite at minus 135. One of the few with a minus in front of them. UCLA plus 280. USC plus 650. Oregon 11-1. Washington State 27. Colorado 40. And then we get to the ones in the hundreds. Stanford, Utah, Arizona State. I am going to go with that Colorado team 40-1. It was 44 yesterday. They're a 4 seed this year. This Tad Boyle has 9 20-win seasons out of 12. That's pretty good. Very underrated coach, I'd say. They lost to Oregon State by 2 last year in the finals. They beat a good USC team to get there. I know this is a new team, but this year they split with Arizona. They whipped them a couple of weeks ago by 16. They play the winner of Oregon State. They split with Oregon. They crushed Oregon State. They have a winning record on the road. This means a lot to me for the first time in over 50 years. And you have Evan Batty. They call him the mayor of Boulder. I've watched clips of him online. I've watched a big guy, likable guy, shoots the 3 well for a big man, does it all. I think he had 4 threes versus Utah the other day. They've won 7 in the last 8. I think they can make a run. 40-1 odds. I'm taking a chance, Harry. Harry, you're not taking as much of a chance.
No, I'm going to take the favorite. I'm going to take Arizona at minus 135. 28-3 this year. A spectacular year. First year head coach Tommy Lloyd, who learned under Mark Few at Gonzaga, did a great job this year in the desert, doing things the right way, unlike that overrated hack of a head coach, Sean Miller, finally out in Arizona. Yep. So now, obviously, Lloyd takes over, done a great job, like I said, at 28-3, 18-2 in conference play. Next closest was UCLA at 15-5. 15 of their 18 conference wins were by double digits. UCLA a bit disappointing lately, just 7-4 straight up in the last 11. Wildcats are deep as well, guys. 5 players averaging 5 rebounds or more a game and shoot 50% as a team from the field. Arizona is just, like I said, too deep and too strong for UCLA, USC, and the rest of the Pac-12. That is kind of soft this season, the Pac-12 is. So I'm taking the favorite, Arizona, at minus 135.
Well, you got UCLA and USC on the bottom half of that bracket. That's fun if it gets that far to the semifinals Friday night. And then my team would play your team, Arizona, Colorado, in the other semifinals Friday night. So, yeah, good times there. Big East, Madison Square Garden. Parlay Kid, you have a pick here. Oh, this used to be so much fun, the Big East tournament. Can it still be fun? We just need some bigger players. I don't know. I know Villanova's a favorite.
Syracuse has to go back to the Big East. Syracuse has to go back to the Big East.
It's too late. Won't accept them. Villanova plus 165. UConn plus 350. Providence 5-1. Marquette 7. Creighton 14. Xavier 19. Then St. John's 27. Basically the home team 27-1 odds. I'm going Marquette. Again, it's hard to believe Georgetown won this as an 8 seed last year. And they killed Creighton 73-48. I'm going Marquette 7-1. They're a 5 seed. They lost twice to Creighton by 1 and 6. So that's who they have to get by to advance. They beat Villanova twice though. And they split with Providence. The time they beat them by 32. Like this Justin Lewis is the all conference most improved Big East player. It's weird. It's a weird team. They're not afraid to bang with the big boys. I think Shaka Smart has a shining moment. One more shining moment. Parlay Kid on Sunday. I like Marquette 7-1. You're taking Providence.
Yeah, so I'm going to roll with Providence at 5-1 because they are the 1 seed, yet they have the, the third best odds here. UConn and Villanova being Villanova, then UConn being the top 2, and one of them are going to knock each other out. So, this is a pretty balanced conference because even here in round 1, if a team like Providence were to see Xavier, that's not an easy matchup, but that's what I like about this Providence team. They're not your typical 1 seed. Even with the 24-4 overall record and a 14-3 record in the Big East, 2 of their 3 losses to Villanova by a combined 7 points as well. But this is a team getting 5-1 odds that knows how to grind it out. They play a slower tempo than most other teams. Their point differential, when you're 24-4 and your point differential is only like +6 a game, so a lot of people could look at that as a negative. I look in these type of tournaments as a positive because, again, they can grind it out. They know how to win tough games. Sal, they start 4 seniors and a junior. Again, 5 starters, all about 10-plus points a game that they get from a good balanced scoring. A team that doesn't score a lot of points, kind of like Texas Tech here. Very similar type of teams. And they actually had a close game against each other this year. But that's what I like. They get balanced scoring. They're very upper-class heavy, Providence. I think this tournament's going to mean something to those guys. And they still are the 1 seed, and they get to avoid that the UConn-Nova matchup, just face one of those 2 teams again. But they got to get by Xavier, and they're probably Marquette, wherever they play. It's not going to be an easy road. If they're going to win, they're going to win close games.
I like them. They kept it close against Nova. What did we have? We bet that game, right? They were getting like 4.5.
They lost by 5. They lost by 5 points once and 2 points the second time.
Right.
Yes.
And they came back last week when they played Nova. So they're a gutty team. They're fun. Watch the Big East. Hey, by the way, I'm looking now. I don't even know if you saw this, Brother Brian, in the March Madness tab on FanDuel. Now they have who will be a 1 seed. Gonzaga's a runaway. Arizona's a runaway. Baylor's a runaway. For the 4th 1 seed, you could bet it. Kansas +135, Auburn +135, Kentucky +230, Duke +390. Harry, what would you say? Who's the 4th 1 seed?
Boy, I'd have to go with Auburn considering the season they had. So if they get to the run, make a final,
so that's
final to the SEC, I'd go Auburn.
Right. So I don't know if Duke could jump. They're 7th, right? So could they jump to 4? I mean, who knows what the rankings are overall.
And the ACC is down this year too. So
I don't know that they could jump those three spots, but Kansas, Auburn's not bad. They have seeding specials too. Like you could bet if Alabama will be over or under 6.5, Arkansas over or under 4.5. Illinois.
I like that. I like that.
That's awesome.
And then this is even better, Parlay Kid. Dayton to make the field of 68. They have a bunch of teams. What do you think Dayton is? The yes.
To make the field of
or you could say to not make it, however you want to read it.
I'm saying plus 1.7.
To make it, it's got to be plus I don't know. I'm gonna plus 180.
Very good guess. Plus 182 to make it. Florida to make it, Bri, plus 390. Got some work to do. Indiana.
Yeah, they got to win 2 games probably.
Yeah, right. Indiana to make it plus 240. Michigan to make it is minus 1100. So not make it is plus 550.
I like these though.
Yeah, these are great. This is FanDuel. This is the shit I love. All right.